Hello and welcome to the Commsverse Vision Keynote. We're here with Jeff Teeper, Corporate Vice President of Microsoft Teams, SharePoint and OneDrive. Over to you, Jeff.
Thanks. Jeff Teeper here, and I am really excited on behalf of Microsoft to be with you here at Commsverse. It's so wonderful that even with what's going on with COVID around the world, that we're able to get together, share the latest roadmap, best practices, and network at this terrific event. And we are very excited, hopefully, to be back together in person at the next one of these. I thought I'd kick off with just a short overview of what our strategy is for collaboration. A number of you may know me that I worked on Office and SharePoint and Office 365 for many years. But towards the end of February, I took on responsibility for the Microsoft Teams organization as Brian McDonald retired from Microsoft. And so it was an unprecedented time to work in an amazing team and an amazing community. And I wanted to step back and say thanks and also share where I think we're headed is connecting Microsoft Teams across the rest of Microsoft. If I can just kick off first again by thanking everybody, the support that you've given us in the growth of Microsoft Teams, the feedback that you've given us on the product, all the partners who've built solutions, hardware, software, services around Microsoft Teams. We wouldn't be here without you. And please keep that feedback and investment coming. We're trying to make it an incredible career opportunity, business opportunity to be part of the Microsoft Teams ecosystem. And we greatly think the best days are still ahead of us for that. Clearly, the world has changed since I took on this role. An unprecedented global pandemic has changed how organizations work, small, large, government, around the world, education, and everything's transforming to be remote. And while a lot of things will come back to in-person or in-person hybrid models, we think digital communications, online meetings are transforming how people work. And we think we're uniquely positioned in Microsoft Teams with bringing together meetings and other collaboration tools into a holistic solution. But this is really an unprecedented time for us to help and also to learn. And so before we jump into some of the product details, I thought I'd talk about how we've been evolving Microsoft Teams in the last 3-4 months since the pandemic hit. First, Satya has talked about Microsoft 365 as the world's productivity cloud. So our goal is to be there for you with a complete set of content creation, collaboration, communication, business processes, knowledge sharing, security and compliance services in an integrated solution that can help you and your organization adapt to change. And this latest change is just proof of the value of a global cloud service that can be there and evolve very quickly, more than if you had to run your own servers and install different applications. This idea of a global productivity cloud, we think, has been validated in the last few months. But the key thing for us is not making it about the technology. The technology is a means to an end of organizations fulfilling their missions, engaging their stakeholders, employees, customers, partners, students, parents, etc. And so a lot of what you've seen us do in the work we're doing, describing our investments from Laurie and others and our colleagues, is being customer focused. That this isn't just about cool video technology, it's how police departments or universities or major corporations or healthcare systems or startups can adapt, engage their employees, communicate with customers and partners. And so a lot of what we've done over the last few months is both celebrate that work that these organizations are doing online with Microsoft Teams, but also learn from it. There's a lot of great feedback that we're getting about how we could make being in meetings easier, more engaging, more fun, more effective, how we could have the workflow outside the meeting help you be more productive when you're in the meeting. And so we've really stressed for our team in our company to be customer driven throughout this and not just focus on the technology. So as part of that, we started really from the first day of the pandemic to make sure that we were sharing the best practices for enabling remote work. What were the tips and tricks we were learning every day from a variety of different organizations on how people would manage their time, how people would make meetings more inclusive, how people would maintain security and control and network performance, all, the whole spectrum of things. Everything from basic time management, that leaving 5 or 10 minutes before or after a meeting to give people a break, to network optimization, where reminding people they should do split tunneling so their network traffic doesn't go back to their corporate network and then back out to the internet to get to Teams. That traffic can bypass the VPN and go straight to the Microsoft data centers. So a huge set of learning that we've been doing, that we've been sharing about how organizations can be more productive through all this change. And this is not a one and done. We'll continue to enhance this, and we'd love your feedback and tips and tricks. And you see us showcasing more and more customer case studies about how they are maintaining their mission through the COVID crisis. The other thing that people have been asking us about is not just the side of how our technology helps them. People wanted to know, will Microsoft 365 be there for them, scaling through the increased usage? And so here I think it's good to take a step back and talk about the journey. This isn't an overnight process that we began in January. In March of 2008, we launched what was then called the Microsoft Online Services. Some people might remember BPOS, Business Productivity Online Services. And we continued to iterate on that for a few years before we gave it the name and launched it broadly as Office 365 in 2011. We continued to invest in Azure and Office 365. We took a step along the way in 2016 to make sure everybody saw we were going to double down on our collaboration tools. And sure enough, the next year in 2017, we did a major milestone with the release of Microsoft Teams. And at that point, we announced that we had 85 million monthly active users for Office 365. In the 3 years since, we've continued to invest and address your feedback and build the partner ecosystem. And just a few months ago, we celebrated the 3rd anniversary of Microsoft Teams, sharing that Office 365 all up had grown to over 250 million monthly active users. And Teams, and this is unbelievable to me, Teams had achieved over 200 million daily meeting and calling participants and over 4 billion daily meeting and calling minutes. That was about 20 times what we'd seen in 3-4 months. And I've been in the industry for a long time, at Microsoft for 28 years, and to grow a cloud service 10 times, 20 times in a matter of months is unprecedented. So huge thanks to the Teams engineering team and the support we got from Azure, but also huge thanks to all of you for betting on us. That allowed us to invest and be here in this crisis. And we're not taking anything for granted. Much, much more is to come in terms of the scalability, reliability, and functionality of Microsoft Teams. A big part of this bet, as we reflected and talked to organization, was trust. And we saw as the crisis hit and cloud services respond, that organizations picked the services that they could trust, that had certifications and security and compliance and identity management and privacy promises. You've all, if you're attending this event, I'm sure have seen the dozens of certifications, the new compliance capabilities that we introduce every day, things like information barriers and data loss prevention, the new security controls. And we've got more to do, but I think part of the reason Microsoft has been successful here is that Satya has reinforced for all of us that your trust is the most important asset that Microsoft has, and that comes before everything else. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about how I think about how Teams and SharePoint and a set of our broader technologies for building solutions come together. It's probably the biggest thing that in an event like this, people ask me, what tool to use when, how does SharePoint relate to Teams? You worked on SharePoint for a while. And I think as part of building the world's productivity cloud, we are bringing AI intelligence to help bring together really 3 things: communications tools like we have in Microsoft Teams, content management tools from SharePoint increasingly integrated with Teams, and exposing a platform so customers and partners can tailor Teams and the rest of Microsoft 365 for their particular business processes. Everything from we ran the voice online singing contest to the NFL football draft in the United States were run in the early days of this crisis on Microsoft Teams because we have such a flexible platform. And so Teams, as you all know, is our hub for teamwork. It is where the core applications exist. So calling, meeting, chat, collaboration, all built in. But increasingly, you see Teams host other applications as the hub for teamwork. So tasks, communities powered by Yammer, video, learning we just recently announced. So more and more capabilities from Microsoft will show up in the context of a team inside the Teams shell, if you will, and use the extensibility mechanisms we have of tabs and bots that you're all familiar with. So Microsoft Teams brings these communication assets, but is also a hub for teamwork. And then where we see SharePoint is providing the content management capabilities for files, lists, sites, knowledge. Some of you have heard of our Project Cortex project. We just introduced Microsoft Lists, or announced Microsoft Lists. And these capabilities from SharePoint, of course, power gorgeous, engaging websites, but they also power standalone apps like OneDrive. And increasingly, these SharePoint experiences will project inside Microsoft Teams. So you can get access to your files, your pages, your lists, etc. inside Microsoft Teams. And that was the idea that we had for bringing these organizations even more closely together back in February. And then we take the assets we have from Teams, from SharePoint, and the rest of Microsoft 365, and expose it as a platform for custom solutions. So you can tailor the meeting experience, the chat experience. You can integrate other tabs. You can build experiences that work on the desktop or mobile. Here in this picture, you see the new Microsoft List capability based off SharePoint, hosted inside Teams for a much more streamlined user experience than we've had in the past. And I think about our customization capability in 3 tiers. 1, end users can customize things like this, where they can add columns and views without any code. 2, people can build more sophisticated applications, still without code or only a little bit of code, with the Power Platform. You'll see more and more integration of the Power Platform, Power Apps, Power Automate, etc., Power BI, inside Microsoft Teams. And then the 3rd tier is for professional development. Hardcore developers want full control of the experience. We announced at Microsoft Build just a few weeks ago, increasing integration of Visual Studio and Azure services with Microsoft Teams. So that 3-tier customization extensibility gives us a way so you can adapt Microsoft Teams for your particular business process and your organization's existing applications. So those are the 3 things we were trying to bring together in this strategy: communications, content, and a platform. A key thing I wanted to close with is, as exciting as the last 3 years have been with Microsoft Teams, going from 0 to billions of daily minutes, we are putting the pedal to the metal in terms of innovating for you. And so a lot of focus. We've always, since the beginning, increased the size of the Teams team, but back in February, we made another significant investment. And just the last 3-4 months, you see that things we've come out with or are in preview or soon to be in preview: raise hands, custom backgrounds. We're going to be able to pop out the windows initially for chat and soon for calling and meetings. We introduced within a few months 3x3 video. We're going to preview with 7x7. More and more safety and moderation controls in terms of enforcement of lobbies and passwords and so forth, attendee management. We've integrated with learning management systems so schools can bridge that workflow between those systems and teams. We've done particular features for first-line workers and for remote assistants, scenarios like doctors and nurses giving remote patient healthcare. They have particular needs. I mentioned the build announcements we've done with both Visual Studio and Power Apps. In the last few weeks, we introduced, to make the Teams ecosystem even bigger, the free version of Teams for Organizations now lets you schedule meetings. Just the week, gosh, it's all going so fast. 2 weeks ago, we introduced the preview on mobile first, desktop will come later this year, of Teams for Consumer. So your family or your ad hoc group in your personal life can use Microsoft Teams as well. It'll be connected to the Microsoft Consumer Services and give us a streamlined workflow for that. And just a huge spectrum of partner devices for headsets and bars below displays and smart intelligent devices and so forth are coming to market. So it has been, in the last 3 months, one of the most incredible, intense periods of innovation I've ever seen. But just you wait. I'm excited about this event. This event is just a little bit early, so I would ask everybody to stay tuned for the next couple of weeks. I think you're going to see some things from the Microsoft Teams team that will amaze you, and you can't wait to get your head and hands on and increase the engagement and experience and productivity in your own meetings and workflow. But again, I wanted to remind you, this has been driven by all of you. The fact that you're betting on Microsoft allows us to invest. The fact that you're so passionate with your feedback, both about explicit features and unmet needs, just stimulates our creativity about the things we can do next in Microsoft Teams. So again, just wait to see what's next. So let me close with a great thank you to the organizers, the sponsors, the speakers of Commsverse. It's a terrific event. We are honored to be here to connect with you. There's a lot more we're going to share in the keynote this morning. And so with that, I will take a break and hand it over to my colleague, Laurie. Laurie?
Thanks, Jeff. All right, we're gonna do a little switch of the slides here. And I'm actually gonna hand it over to Geri. Geri Johnson, why don't you give us start with your intro?
Yes. Hi, Commsverse. I am so excited to be here. And let me just tell you a couple of things. One, I am joining you today live from Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I'm a senior vice president at SSPR. We are a public relations agency. I'm responsible for innovation and the tools that we use. And we have 5 offices across the US. We support clients from all over the world. And Teams is a big part of how we operate to serve our clients. I have been passionate about Teams and the Microsoft communications platform since before I got all this gray hair. And I had the pleasure of meeting Laurie several years ago when we were at a conference and I told her I needed raving fans for my former company. And ever since then, Laurie and I have stayed in touch, sharing adoption strategies. And we are really looking forward to sharing, some of those stories today and just really having a fun conversation about using Teams as a community.
Great. Thanks, Geri. I'm so excited to be here as well. So for those of you who I don't know, probably very many of you, my name is Laurie Pottmeyer. I am the community lead for Microsoft Teams Engineering. I'm a senior PM and I've been at Microsoft for just about 15 years. I represent the quality and customer obsession team today, and our team ensures that we bring our feedback, your feedback, to our engineering team, that we're listening to you, like Jeff said, that all of the feedback that you bring to us, our team is responsible for taking that from all of the different channels and making sure that we're incorporating your ideas and your feedback into what we do and what we engineer for Microsoft Teams. So thank you. I reiterate what Jeff said. Thank you for sharing that feedback. Our goal is to deliver a quality product for you and make sure that you have what you need to be successful and collaborate successfully. For myself personally, I've been a remote worker for the past 7-ish years at Microsoft. And so as many of us move to this new way of working remote and at home, for me, it's a little bit of the same and a lot different as well. So I'll be sharing some of the things that I'm experiencing with that as well. So a big thank you to our sponsors. You know, really, these community events are so important, and we couldn't be here, we couldn't do what we're doing without all these sponsors. So a huge shout out to them for everything that they're doing to contribute to Commsverse and be a part of the week this week. I wanted to urge all of you, and hopefully you've logged into the team and been participating in a lot of the channels. There's so many great activities going on with the different sponsors and with virtual reality, and hopefully you can pop in and talk to some of these folks there, ask them questions. There's a wealth of knowledge that you have access to, so take advantage of that. The speakers and sponsors all will be popping in. A lot of us are going to each other's sessions, and I'm just really excited about the all up community feel that this event has. So I'm glad that all of you are a part of it. And a huge shout out to Mark, Martin, and Randy for the organization of this event and the work that they've done to make this happen. It's just huge. And like, you know, we were saying, it is a bummer that we can't all be in person, but gosh, it sure is great to be able to be here together. And they've created a wonderful opportunity for us all to connect virtually. I wanted to talk a little bit about the growth that Jeff mentioned, and you know how much the team has really stepped in to make sure that you know, we're responding to the needs that all of you have. We've had tremendous growth, of course, but given our rapid transition to this work environment that everybody is experiencing, both, you know, for those of us who are working, but also for people who are going to school and using Microsoft Teams in an education environment. There's so much that people needed so quickly, and we haven't taken that lightly. I think it's worth noting that, you know, all of us who are deploying Teams, training on Teams, using Teams for the first time, or assisting your customers, we're all on the front line. You know, we are all on the front line as it relates to technology, and we're making things happen in the background. So kudos to all of you who are taking a part in that and enabling your users, your workers, to do their jobs, because it really is very important. But of course, with all these huge numbers that we're seeing, it comes with a variety of challenges too, and none of which we have stopped working at. You know, scale, we really want to make sure that we are continuing to provide a quality service to our customers, but give everybody the opportunity to scale or to use Teams and be able to scale for all of you. And so we've definitely done some work there. We have offered free Teams so that everybody has access to Microsoft Teams. And security is a huge focus for us as well, maintaining security both for educational customers and corporate customers who are using Teams for external participants, internal participants, making sure that we have a very secure environment for all of you to participate in. And then feature development with all of the asks that all of you have had. You know, there's so many features that were new that we didn't think we needed 2 months ago or 5 months ago or a year ago, but now are very, very important because of the way that we are working. And so we are doing our very, very best. And Jeff shared some of those in his long list of things that we're doing right now to be able to create some additional features for you based on those new priorities that you have. And then finally, innovation, not forgetting that we still need to innovate. We can't just be responsive. We need to innovate and continue going down that path of creating something new and different and exciting and very, very useful for you. So we are definitely continuing to push the envelope and see what more we can do with Teams. And I'm very, very excited about the work that we're doing. So the community is a huge part of Microsoft Teams, and I hope that you all understand that the participation in events like this, the way that you contribute to user voice and give us your feedback, the team really couldn't do what we do without all of your input. So thank you very much for that. Like I said, my team is called the Quality and Customer Obsession Team. And so it's really important that we take the needs of all of our users and push them to our engineering. And one of the ways that you can contribute is by using user voice. And the AKA link for that is Teams feedback. And I'll put that in the message or in the announcement so that you have that. But I do want to urge you all to contribute and give us your feedback. I know there are a lot of things in there, and sometimes it feels like nothing's getting traction, but I assure you that the team looks at that. We have machine learning in place that tells us about trends and gives us understanding about different spikes that we're seeing based on where you are today. And so continue to give us your feedback there. We absolutely look at that. We meet with our product teams, our feature teams on a weekly basis and discuss what's in there. So thank you for those of you who do that, and please continue to do it. Another space where there's great community conversation is the tech community, the Microsoft tech community. So hopefully all of you are in there. We love being a part of the Microsoft tech community because we can be a part of your conversations, of course, ask questions, but also listen and just understand how you're using Teams and some of the challenges that you're having, as well as some of the ways that you're using Teams in new and different ways. That's very exciting. So we urge you to go in there and be part of that conversation. That's a great way to continue conversations after today and ongoing. And that's at the aka.ms/Teams community. We also just recently launched a new blog space in the Microsoft Tech community, and all of you are more than welcome to contribute to that. So again, when we attend events like this and we get so much knowledge from all of the wonderful presenters that are here and contributing, you know, how do we give back? And one of the ways that all of you can give back is by participating in the tech community and participating as a blog author in the Microsoft Tech community. All of us have something to share, and I think sometimes we forget that not everybody knows everything, and we think sometimes we assume that everybody already knows what we have to say, but in reality, when we share our experience, somebody's going to learn from that experience, whether they already know the information, maybe they're just hearing a new perspective. So it's very important to share, and hopefully all of you feel confident in doing so. And then finally, participating in this event today, I said, you know, be sure to go to those channels, ask questions, share your own experiences. We all have something to share. So, you know, whether it's a best practice, a tip or trick, a cool way that you use Teams, please get in there and have those discussions. This is the time to do it. We're all a big community. So we're super excited as a product group to be part of the community. It is wonderful to have all of you here and to be a part of it. I wanted to let you know that our Commsverse speakers would like to share a little bit about what they love about being part of the Teams community. And before I share this video, I'm actually going to stop sharing and start resharing because I have a little technical glitch. So please hold.
What I love about Microsoft Teams community is that every member of the community worldwide goes above and beyond.
Teams community, it's a family. You are my family, you're all my family, you're my best friends, you're my neighbors, you're everyone in my bubble. I just love each and every one of you.
This is a real world sharing space to make people progress and progress yourself in new ways to teach and learn.
The Microsoft Teams community is the biggest and the most active community ever. It's simply the best.
Microsoft Teams community rocks because you people are awesome.
What I love most about the Teams community is that they keep their finger on the pulse of the everyday user. They're always pushing features out to keep us collaborating.
Communities are the best way to connect to other people, to specialists around the globe, to get in touch with customers, with partners.
The community to me is people all over the world sharing the same passion.
No other application provides such an immersive experience.
We've got so many good tools that we can use to help others and really make sure that people can do what they want to do and get their work done.
All of the inputs and technical expertise that you bring to the table to help drive new features as well as drive customer success stories is a large part of how Teams has moved from a simple chat client to a full UC collaborative client.
I can communicate with anyone anywhere and find out how they're using Teams, share ideas and tips.
Everyone is so passionate about what they do, and we all love sharing these ideas and our passion, which makes us all come together as one big organisation.
Having been part of many communities over the years, I can confidently say that the Teams community is one of the very best.
What I love about the Microsoft Teams community is that everybody is willing to share their information. If you need help, just ask.
Everyone is so willing to share information, come to your aid and help you out. If you have problems or get stuck, it's like a massive, great support group.
Everybody is in it together, here to learn, here to teach, doesn't matter, here to talk about Microsoft Teams.
The creativity of everybody involved, from developing custom tools or different approaches to such a versatile product, it's amazing and inspiring and humbling all at once.
Everybody is so engaged to change the way everyone is working now from home.
No matter where you are in the world or what time of the day or night it is, there's always someone there for you.
It allows everybody in the unified communication industries to come together and unite as one.
I love the fact that every time I'm wrong or curious about something, someone always have the answer.
Commsverse, start your engines.
Okay, Geri, I don't know. I have the chills. I don't know.
Wait, Laurie, I had to get my tissue.
I know. Hey, I want you to talk a little bit about the Teams community and how you have created community. First, I wanted to say, as we're all at home, this alone together, hashtag alone together has really kind of spoke to me and means something, because even though we are all apart and we're not in the same place physically right now, I just feel that this community has such a important place in my heart. And honestly, seeing all of you work together, all of the community work together and answer questions and help each other through this significant change in our life, and not only helping each other deploy Teams and figure that technical piece out, but really be there as a support for each other. Our country and other countries are going through very difficult times right now, and it really does feel like we're all in this together. And I know, being a remote worker, there are certainly challenges, and I've experienced it being a remote worker and having my team partially also distributed geographically, but most people being in Bellevue, Washington. And for me, it's been a little, it's always trying to stay connected and be part of that team. And, you kind of get used to it. But now with all of us apart, we don't even have the opportunity to check in and travel and see one another every quarter, every month, or however we used to do it, right? And so it's really more important than ever to stay connected. And Geri and I were able to do this keynote using Teams. We've been collaborating over the last couple of months, figuring out what we're going to talk to you about. And I think that every time we get together, we decide that we just did our keynote. We just had the most wonderful conversation about Teams. So, yes. Geri, you have done some super exciting things at SSPR, and I'd love for you to share some of those cool ideas to stay connected.
Okay, let's talk about it. Laurie, you're so right. I usually travel every other week, traveling to offices. And so with the pandemic, we have had to get really creative. So team, what you see here is by far my most favorite thing we've done so far this summer. And over in the lower left corner, you see Dolly the llama. And we were able to join Dolly and her other sanctuary friends remotely using Teams. This is hosted by the Sweet Farm sanctuary, and we had them join our Wine Cart Wednesday that we stood up starting when we all had to be quarantined starting in March. So Dolly joined our Wine Cart Wednesday in May, and the host walked us around the entire farm for 20 minutes, introducing us to all the animals. And our team was crazy for it, you know, taking pictures, asking questions. And what was so great about it, and why Laurie and I decided this should be part of the community conversation, is because this was only 20 minutes in the middle of the week, and yet it built this wonderful connection across all of our offices. We were all able to, you know, not only join that activity, but since then, it's still this connection that we continue to talk about today. And so just that simple 20 minutes using Teams, and rallying around something that was really fun, and getting to meet some of these farm animals, and also, you know, just helping Sweet Farm by doing that was great. Laurie, this next one, I don't know, I'm excited about all of it. This one is near and dear to my heart. Same concept in terms of us rallying around a cause and finding a cause that everyone can get behind. So an organization that I'm very passionate about, I sit on the board, is Inside Out Youth Services. They provide community and services for queer youth in the greater Colorado area, anyone from ages 13 to 24. And the image that you see here is one of the team members from Inside Out Youth Services providing us an LGBTQ 101 session. Laurie, we played Kahoot, and that was fun, having a competition. But also what we were able to do is during this time, like every year we are given volunteer time off. We do activities together. Of course, here, like for example, here in Colorado, we might all gather together to go fix a trail or something. Or some of our other locations have gotten together at a food bank or something like that. Well, you know, during this time, we've had to get more creative of how we can provide services yet still be remote and staying at home. So with this organization, they gave us LGBTQ 101, and we gave them PR services and social media training. So that was a wonderful exchange. And again, it was this awesome activity that we could all get behind, yet still get creative and use Teams in order to provide those services for both organizations. Laurie, I'm ready for the yes. Yes, that is me. Couple of things. One is we are ridiculous. And two, you'll see we're using the wonderful Teams blur background. I'm wearing a giant beach hat with pineapples on my shirt. And that is because we were announcing that if you participate in our tic-tac-toe board throughout the year, at the end of the year, we're going to put everyone who completed their tic-tac-toe boards, and the winner can either go to Hawaii or win $5,000. But here's why this matters and why community matters. We have to continue to be creative, and it's one thing to get connected, right? Like we have that down. We use Teams all day long and we are connected, but we also have to stay connected, and we also have to increase engagement and camaraderie. And so our tic-tac-toe boards are all about our principles as a company. So for example, the board that I put here is for our kick-ass team, and that was the board that we used for May and June. And it's all about staying connected and helping each other out. And that's being done through Teams, and it's helping maintain our community. Other things that we've done related to the tic-tac-toe board and fun, crazy videos of us pretending that we're in Hawaii with our leis are things like coffee chats, and every Monday we have an all agency huddle. I want to pause here though, Laurie, because let me tell you, one of the I did, team, I did not include ridiculous videos of me. About once a month or maybe a couple times a month, I either do trivia or I host a raffle. And why that's important is everyone loves a good raffle. Everyone loves participating in trivia. So I think we should also do that here at Commsverse because I love raffles so much. So how about we bring a little bit of SSPR culture, and the producers are going to help me. They're going to post a link for you to participate in a raffle, and the winner is going to receive a $100 gift card to the Microsoft Store. They're going to post the link in the Q&A. All you have to do is click on the link and provide your name and email address. And here later in the keynote, we are going to draw a winner.
Very cool.
Okay. Yes. So let's talk about some of the things that we're also doing. Like that's kind of more the internal side. I also want to share some of the fun things we do to also connect with our clients. And here's why this is important and why Teams is so important to help you build your community. Like I was saying, I travel quite often throughout the year, and I'm not traveling right now, and neither is our team. And one of the things that's important to our SSPR culture is building relationships. And that definitely includes connecting with our clients and building a relationship with our client. So we also want to use Teams and be creative of how can we share that personality and that enthusiasm with our clients while no longer being able to meet with them in person. And so what you see here is we recently brought on a new client called Colorado Corn. And this was just a fun way for us to share how excited we are to work with them. And yes, it's funny and punny and corny, but it really does show, it lets our personality shine through to our customers. And let's face it, wouldn't you rather work with us who are wearing fun corn hats than anyone else? So that's how we've tried to maintain our culture and extend it out to our clients. We also certainly have done some fun non-work activities. Everything you saw up to this point, while it was fun, it was all related to work. So we've done other things that have helped keep us connected. And this really is important because it really does help build that trust and community that Laurie has talked about, that we'll continue to talk about. We've done everything from using the Teams mobile app to host SSPR cribs, where whether it's me or anyone in our agency will use their mobile phone and they will literally walk us around their house so that we can all see their home. And that's just really fun. You really get to know someone. We've also done things like monthly meditations and Friday gratitude to encourage mindfulness and wellness. But certainly my most favorite is the activity of hosting a midweek dance party, because it's just a quick 5 to 10 minutes to help relieve stress. And the other fun thing is, back to what I was talking about with our clients, it has extended our community out beyond just our agency, right? We've had dogs join us, like you see here, or we've had kids or parents or significant others. And that is just such a huge benefit, not only to our team members, right, but also the people around our team members who are like, yes, you work for such an awesome company. I'm so happy they're doing this for you. I can't believe you're able to take a break in the middle of the day. My company would never let me do that, right? And that just continues to strengthen our internal community as well as our extended community. And Laurie, I know you also, you and I have talked over the last few months about how important it is to have work-life balance. And so I also, I want to hear from you about things you're doing for work-life balance besides us over at SSPR having dance parties every week.
I definitely think that having a dance party every week would be fantastic.
Well, you're welcome to join us, Laurie.
Oh, I would love to be a guest. Depends on what the music is. Work-life balance is tough. I think all of us probably have challenges with work-life balance on a normal day, and then you throw this new way of working from home where we're always connected. We're always here. We don't get away from our work, and that's a little bit different for a lot of people. So yeah, I'll share a couple of examples. One is, so this is my daughter, Sydney. And last Wednesday, Microsoft had the Microsoft West region, here in my region, they had a special event, and it was Cooking for Kids. And they had sent an invite out to us, and we got to join on a Teams call and cook with our kids at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and do a couple of fun recipes. So we all did our shopping in advance, and then we brought our kids in, and that was a really cool way. You mentioned with your dance party, Geri, you have sometimes family members joining in, and it's been really a great way to have kind of that connection with work, but also be able to involve our families, because our families are seeing us work an awful lot right now. And the nice thing about the day cooking with kids was that Sydney was in charge of doing everything. I was just there to help out and maybe control some knife situations. But I was also connected on the mobile client. And even though she had used my computer and was connected on Teams, and I couldn't technically, work during that time, I wanted to be a part of what she was doing, but I also wanted to stay connected because my day technically wasn't over. And I think one of the benefits of using Teams is the mobile client. And even when I'm not home, working, but on a normal day when I may be taking my kids to sports, or I may be going to a doctor's appointment, or sitting in a waiting room somewhere, it's really nice to stay connected with the mobile client and be able to take a call, be able to join a meeting. It's so important right now for all of us to be able to get up and move around. And I think that we get on these back-to-back meetings, and it's not like when we were in the office where we could get up and we would walk to the next conference room or be able to walk around and talk to your coworkers. You're sitting now, and everything, even when you're having a casual conversation, you're still sitting at your computer. When you're in a meeting, you're looking at a screen, and it can be really hard for us. And so just a reminder to get up and move around and use that mobile client if you need to stay connected. It's there if somebody needs to reach you. And I've taken a couple of walks while I walk the dog, while I'm on some meetings where I don't have to heavily participate in. If I have an all hands call, that's when I actually get on my exercise bike, and I have a chance to be able to work out a little bit while I am watching the all hands, because it can be on the mobile client, which is really, really great. So, and Geri, I know that you've been trying to get up and move around, and your passion is golf, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My passion and my sanity is golf right now, because it's something that I can do socially distant, and it's kind of, for me, related to Friday gratitude. I'm so grateful for technology. I'm so grateful for the mobile client, because I'm able to extend my day onto the golf course. I've told people have hit me up on Teams, and I'm like, hey, give me 5 minutes. I will call you from the tee box, right? And it really does. It sounds crazy, right? Because I definitely used to kind of have this like separation. And Laurie, I know we want to talk about boundaries, but I like that blend, and I had to let go of those boundaries in terms of, I want to be able to feel like I'm available, but also feel like I have the freedom to do some other things and get out of the house and get some fresh air and get some sun. And so I don't mind those interruptions, because let's face it, as long as the weather's nice, I'm going to try to be outside on the golf course every afternoon. And I still have to be available to people. So for me to get the best of both worlds, I'm using the mobile client all the time, and I love it.
Yeah, it is a huge help. I've definitely had my fair share of calls on mobile client, or being able to leave early for something and leave my meeting on my desktop and switch over to mobile and be in my car, which is great. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is setting up your workspace. And again, because so many of us, so many people haven't necessarily worked from home, and they may not have a dedicated space. Your home may be so small, or you may not have an extra room. I'm off of my living room, but I have a dedicated space, and I think that's really important. Even if it's your dining room table, just having that space where work is work and home is home, because those lines are completely blurred right now. And, it's really important that you have a space set up where you can do your best work. And then when work is over, that's it. You're done. And you step away from that area and try not to go back if you don't have to, right? The other thing is, there's some different tools and devices. And so in addition to having a space, one of the things that I love is my Busy Light, because now, and this is a snapshot of Mary Beth, who is one of our presenters here this week. And so I had to steal this picture from her because I really loved how she had her Sennheiser headset there and her Busy Light. But I love my Busy Light because now my kids can see when they're coming in, they can see, oh, mom's on a call. I try not to bother her. I love the work-life balance that I have because I am home and I am able to answer questions or be there, take people for rides when I need to quickly. But when I'm working, I'm working. And when I need to focus, I need to focus. So that red light tells them that, hey, mom's busy. I can't answer any questions right now. I'm focusing. I also love, I've kind of changed now that people are home all the time. So now I prefer to, when I really need to focus, I put on one of those bigger headsets. I have a couple from different vendors, and I love those because it's, you can't hear anything else. You really kind of get in your zone, as opposed to, I have a puck that I use. I have my Logitech webcam that I use for, speakerphone when I want to do that. But certainly when I'm trying to focus, it's nice to have some devices to have that option and make it a little bit easier as well. And then the next thing that I wanted to talk about is setting boundaries. It's hard to set boundaries. And I think everybody has different preferences about when they want to get notified for what. There's a lot going on in Teams. There are a lot of messages, and to be notified about everything can be really overwhelming for people. If there's a pop-up for every message that you get, or an email sent to you for everything. So a couple of things here. One, we just recently made some changes to notifications. And so starting last week, you can get quick access to your notification settings by going to your activity feed and selecting the notifications icon. And you can choose when and where you get notified for what. And so one of the things that I like is to remove the email notifications. I don't want to get those. So I have chosen to only get notifications in my feed. It's important to me to have Teams in Teams and Teams notifications in Teams. And so that's why I choose to have those. I don't want the additional notification. However, if you are part of another team that maybe you don't join as often, or another tenant that maybe you don't join as often, and you want to get notifications, that is an opportunity for me. I prefer to get notified by email in those other tenants if there's something important for me, because I may not be logging in every day. So that may be something that you consider as well. And then the other thing is quiet hours. Being able to set and have those times where work is off. You don't need to get those notifications anymore. And so Teams has the quiet hours that you can turn off and turn on. You, of course, can go into your mobile client at any time and turn off your notifications. And I think that's really important. If you're out to dinner with a friend, or if you're, spending some family time, turn off the notifications, because I know how, at least how I am, and that bright shiny light comes up and you think, oh gosh, something's really important, I got to get it. So definitely set those boundaries, use your mobile device to set your notifications on your mobile device, and also then go into the Teams client and set your notifications. Give us feedback on what you're seeing as well. Like I said, we recently made some changes to notifications and provided more options. And I'll post a couple of links at the end that can help you track down that information. Okay, and so then create a workflow to start your day. So I don't know about how all of you work, whether you come to your desk and you just start work at a certain time every day. I like to kind of know what's going on prior to my day really starting. And so I actually use the mobile client to do this, but going into the activity feed. And this is one of my favorite features. I talk about it pretty much every time I talk to any community event. And so I'll do it again today. But really every morning I start my day by first checking my activity feed. And I look for @mentions and conversations that I've been tagged in, or conversations that I've started and replies to those, because I kind of treat that as my inbox. Excuse me, those are the things that people want to hear back from me on. They have tagged me because they need me to look at something, they need me to reply to something. And so I look at those @mentions. You can filter in the activity feed and look for only things that you're @mentioned for, or teams that have been mentioned, replies, any of your unread messages. So there's a lot of options there, and that activity feed helps me kind of sort through with all the there's so much information in Teams. And so this really helps me kind of stay organized, start my day, look for what's most important, and then I can mark things as unread if I want to use that kind of as a to-do list. And so activity feed, that is one of my favorite features, and something that I think can be a lot of clutter because there's a lot in there, but by using those filters, it can be very, very useful. So Geri, I know that you have seen a lot of people really pick up Teams in your organization, and how are people using Teams to get work done? What are they doing?
It's been great. Let me preface this by saying we were early adopters of Teams. Like I said, I've known and loved the Microsoft communications platform for many years. And so we jumped on Teams pretty early. I did several raffles to get us adopting all the different modalities and picking it up. And so we've reached a level of maturity with Teams that is awesome, amazing, beneficial, etc. So one of the things you see here, Laurie, is one team member who created a new channel, right? And then this was after the reactions have rolled out. And here's the fun thing that I've learned about reactions since they rolled out. Our team members are very choosy about which reactions they select. They only love something if they love it, and they only give it a thumbs up if it's a thumbs up, etc. Right? So you already see 3 team members love this post, and then another team member reply with, they love a new channel to stay organized, right? And then this fun meme of, I love organization with this closet. And yes, I think you already know that we have a lot of fun at SSPR. It's just baked into our culture. But this really does help. It really does help with engagement and teamwork and productivity. It starts to just build this people being real, people being themselves, letting their personality show through. And when you can trust people and you see them being their authentic selves, that helps build even more trust and teamwork. So I can't emphasize enough just being human and letting your personality show through. It doesn't mean that you have to post a meme. It just means that, keep it real. If that being said, I know some of you are thinking your company or the company that you're helping with won't allow you to enable some of these features. Yeah, I still encourage you. You can still have fun and show your human side. I think it's important to let your personality show through virtually, because it does really help build that rapport and trust so that you can get work done. Laurie, you and I have talked about this quite a bit, and I'm hoping that you'll share with everyone a little bit about, we talked about turning off, we call it the fun button, right? And if organizations turn the fun button on or off. But if you wouldn't mind sharing just some of your thoughts about the fun button, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I always talk about the walking around the office with a file folder and not looking at anybody and just walking down the hallway holding it in front of you. And, we don't do that when we're in the office. When we're in the office, we're having conversations with people and we're talking to people. And I think it's, like you said, it is so important to just build that foundation of being human and having conversations and having a little bit of fun. And it doesn't have to be distracting, but just being able to be yourself and to have conversations that are not 100% work related all the time, and making space for that in Teams, like having a fun channel or having an announcements channel where people can talk about their engagements or their babies or their trips that they took, vacations they went on, those types of non-work related things that just help us stay connected and learn about each other, because that does build trust and ultimately increases collaboration overall.
Right. I mean, you want to work harder for someone you know better. That's just how our brains work. But let's keep rolling with the fun. This one, I have to give a shout out to Laurie. So let me give a little background here. Like I said, we have 5 offices across the United States. Our Chicago office is, I would say each of our offices have a very unique personality. You can imagine, for example, one of our offices is in Philly, another's in Chicago. We have an office in San Francisco. Just knowing those different cities, they just have a different look and feel, etc. So in our Chicago office, we have this open concept layout in the office. It's on the 41st floor of the Civic Opera building. And the thing that happened here with our Chicago office and why you see this virtual office get created is because they contacted me a few weeks ago and said that being quarantined has really impacted their productivity. And I happened to be having a meeting with Laurie somewhere around that time and was telling her how what has happened is the team is so used to being in office together, being a few feet apart, and being able to say, hey, Laurie, hey, Mark, I have a quick question, right? And have that dialogue throughout the day. And because we went virtual, they weren't having the dialogue anymore. It was like, oh, I don't want to bother Laurie, so I'm not going to IM her. Even as mature as our team is with Teams, they didn't want to bother Laurie. They didn't want to bother Mark or Randy or anyone. So I shared this dilemma with Laurie, and she gave me the idea of creating a virtual office channel. And that has already helped tremendously. So what the team is now doing is every day they open the virtual office. And this has broken down that barrier of them feeling like they can't bother someone, right? So if someone's active in that virtual office and in the Teams meeting, then they know that Laurie is there and she's available. She might be working, right? But you can still ping her and ask her a question or something like that. And you'll also see that, again, some personality is shown through. As soon as they stood up the virtual office channel, they said, Chicago, I'll open the office on Monday. But in the meantime, tell me the most ridiculous thing you've eaten for breakfast during quarantine. And I'm here to tell you, I did not look at the virtual office this morning, but there, at least as of last week, there was still quite an ongoing debate as to whether or not it's okay to have pizza for breakfast. I am definitely team pizza for breakfast over here. I believe you can eat pizza at any time of the day, but you're welcome to have your own differing opinions about that. So anyway, Laurie, I appreciate you giving me that, just us having that dialogue. And, me using my community and using Laurie to help give me an idea to help our Chicago team be more productive or bring their productivity back. One more thing is just us as a company and getting work done. we're big Yammer users, and being able to pull Yammer in Teams, I actually sent out a note when this happened and said who put Yammer in my Teams, but it's really been helpful, as well as other integrations. Like we have what we call our case studies workflow. It uses Planner, and that's accessed through Teams. The other thing I want to note here is just there are a ton of app integrations and automations you can do with Teams. I can't encourage you enough to check out the sessions in the automation track and the development track, where you'll find some great sessions on Power Automate, Power Apps, setting up apps without code, anything from code to low code to no code. And so please participate in those sessions and learn how you can do more and bring that same level of productivity into your organization. One final plug, Laurie, please go out and participate in the raffle. I am going to be more than pleased to give away a $100 gift card. So,
awesome. Yes, good reminder. If you go to the live event Q&A, Mark has posted the Swagit link there. So please go there and take advantage of that.
And I do have one more big call to action for everyone. Oh, I think we're live to you, Laurie. No, we're switching around. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Nope, keep going.
All
keep
right.
talking.
Just to also just take advantage of the week and challenge yourself to 10 sessions and think of ways you could innovate to do something differently. How can you bring creativity to your next business solution? And be open to the realm of the possible. Participate in the team, make it a goal to connect with other people in the community, and don't be afraid to say hello. Don't be afraid to let your personality shine through. We are all here as this awesome community who loves Microsoft Teams. And I also want to say a personal thank you to Mark, Martin, and Randy. You have been so innovative. I would love to have you on my team at SSPR. And also on behalf of all the Commsverse presenters and Laurie and myself, we're just so glad you are here. Uh-oh. I just saw Mark with his passport. He's coming over. Anyway, we're so glad you're here, and we have another fun video to show you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm just having all kinds of trouble here. Part of it's user error and part of it's not. So sorry about that, everybody. We'll give it just a second. Hopefully these videos are going to work for you and we're not too laggy. We will post the links to them, and I hope that you share them on social as well. So yes, huge thank you to everybody for being here. Let's kick this off.
Oh, welcome to Commsverse. Let's have some fun.
Welcome to Commsverse. We're glad you're joining us.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Välkommen till Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse. We're glad you've joined us.
Welkom op Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Hallo guys, welcome to Commsverse. Nice.
Welcome to Commsverse. We're glad you're joining us.
Herzlich willkommen zur Commsverse. Wir freuen uns, dass ihr dabei seid.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Big welcome to Commsverse, and we're so glad that you're joining us.
Welkom bij Commsverse. Wij zijn er helemaal klaar voor, hopelijk u ook.
G'day, and welcome to Commsverse.
Herzlich willkommen bij de Commsverse. Schön, bist du dabei.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Bem-vindos ao evento da Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse, everyone.
G'day and welcome to Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse. We're glad you're joining us.
G'day and welcome to Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse.
Olá, bem-vindo à Commsverse.
Trevor Davis Summer, Croeso e Commsverse.
Welcome to Commsverse. We're so glad you could join us.
Welcome to Commsverse, and thank you so much for joining this online event put together by the community for the community, and we hope you look forward to the great content over the next few days.
Thank you for being part of the community.
Vamos fazer o evento.
Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Tervetuloa kaikille.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be such an awesome week. And thank you so much, Geri. It's been so fun working with you on this and being here with you today.
Thank you. It has been so fun. Thank you.
So let's see. Let's go ahead and go to our last slide here, which is please take the survey for this session, but also the sessions that you attend this week. We definitely want to get your feedback, and I know all the presenters are so passionate about what they're talking about, but they also want to get your constructive feedback. So give us feedback. Also, Geri and I are going to head over to the breakout room. So if you have a chance to join us after this for a few minutes and you have any questions, please feel free to come over there. We'll be there. You've also got our Twitter handles there. I actually just tweeted out the link to the video, so hopefully all of you can follow us on Twitter and stay connected. We'd love to continue these conversations and be part of the community. You can also find me in the Microsoft Tech community or on Teams at any time. Please don't hesitate to reach out. So should we do the drawing?
Yes, I think it's time for the drawing.
All right, it says start draw. I'm going to hit start draw. Hopefully here we go. So Lee, we will show information, and Geri, that comes from you. So thank you so much for contributing that.
You are welcome. Congrats, Lee.
Congrats. All right. Well, with that, we would like to say thank you so much for being a part of today. And you know, we'll be here all week, and we can't wait to see all of you in many of the sessions coming. So let's do this. Thanks everybody for joining us today.
Commsverse, speaker and attendees, start your engines!
Hey Commsverse, start your engines!
Commsverse, start your engines!
Commsverse, speaker and Hey! Commsverse, speaker and attendees, start your engines!